All right, so we are joined from the Department of Revenue by one of the first students I ever had in my career at Jim Hill High School, graduate of Jim Hill High School, graduate of Hind Community College, graduate of Jackson State University, the one and only Natalie Woods-Jamison, one of the first people to ever have to deal with me as a teacher, but just so successful, doing so many great things now. And we appreciate you taking some time for us today to talk about your educational background and your career with the state of Mississippi, which has already been very good to you.
Oh yeah, most definitely. Well, I do have a presentation that I do want to share with you guys. I'm about to go ahead and try to pull that on up right now.
Sure.
All right. Well, as you guys know, my name is Natalie Woods. I'm 23 years old, and I've been employed with the state of Mississippi for 1 year now. Well, this is my introduction. After graduating high school, I did attend at Hinds Community College and got my associate degree in paralegal technology. After receiving that degree, I did get transferred to Jackson State University, and I did receive my bachelor's degree in criminal justice in 2021. Now I am attending Jackson State again in order to try to get my master's in public health. Beginning of my service for the state. The first place I actually attended at the age of 22 was the Mississippi Public Service Commission. The PSU regulated all the utilities, water, and sewage within Mississippi, only except for the city-owned properties. Since I was an investigator, I had to communicate with the public on a daily basis about their bills and resolving problems for them. Tax lien administrations. After being with the Public Service Commission, I decided to get transferred to the Department of Revenue. I work in the liens administration, collecting money that the taxpayers owe. My daily duties are assisting the customers, doing work items for our revenue officers, and asserting checks into the system. The Department of Revenue. Now that I really just gave you guys some insight on what I do, I want to inform you all on the other things that the Department of Revenue has to offer besides the liens administration. We have so many other departments such as homestead, property tax, individual tax, legal, audit, accounting, human resource, processing, and so much more. We have a gym in our building and also a cafeteria. I believe we do have a bank in here. It is a big giant building, so we have like a whole lot more things as well. They have positions for their employees in order for them to get promotional opportunities. And if you stay in your position for 6 months, you are eligible to move up in another position.
Yeah, and a good friend of mine runs the server over there. He doesn't know anything about finance, but he has a
Yeah.
tech background, and he manages the server that is the $7 billion budget that the Department of Revenue manages. And he is a computer person. He does not handle the money; he handles all the computers.
Yes, when I say so many departments, like I remember when I did get an interview here, and my boss, as of right now, she was just explaining to me about all the positions that they have. So like probably you probably wouldn't like your position that you're in now. You'd always get transferred anywhere else. After that 6 months, you're able to transfer anywhere in a Department of Revenue. And we also do have ABC. I know I didn't put this in my presentation though, but it's the alcohol beverage center that we do have in Madison County. Any type of alcohol that comes within the state of Mississippi has to go there. It's like a big giant warehouse full of just alcohol, and they have people that be on forklifts all the time. I actually had to go last month because they need a little help. So they wanted us to come and volunteer to try to help out and try to get few of them boxes shipped to different liquor stores. So they do have that as well too, if a lot of people probably want to be interested later on in the future working for the warehouse. It is real nice and it's real good, and a lot of people up there is very nice people. They are very nice people,
And then
and it is kind of
even though
fun.
they don't have the college background, those trade workers have the same benefits that a salary employee would have in the state of Mississippi.
Right, that is absolutely true as well. That is true. Yeah, that is absolutely true. Okay, now after that, I believed I'm trying to see. Yeah, but I think that's really about it. That's the only thing that I can think of. But I do know that they do have departments all over Mississippi as well. The revenue officers that actually work with me, they actually work at home. So they actually go to the taxpayers' houses and try to talk to them about the tax that they owe. So they do have at-home positions for people as well.
Wow.
Uh, okay, now that I had talked about the Department of Revenue, I do want to talk about the state benefits and the opportunities. Um, when applying for any state job, you have to apply on the Mississippi Personnel Board website for any position that you are inquiring. The state do come with great benefits. Each agency varies since each agency have their different insurance within the Mississippi. Um, we have a system called PAIRS that all employees of the state use.
Mhm.
PAIRS take out 12% of your income and put it in your retirement. So you'll be able to be set, when you get old. If you serve up to 20 years, you are eligible to retire. We do receive perks such as discounts on cell phone bills at any telephone company and discounts at hotels as well.
All right, so I did want to talk about PERS real quick, because being a teacher, we have PERS as well. Now, one thing I think draws young people from working for the state is they say, "Look, I'm not going to make as much money," but you're not going to have you're not going to have retirement benefits in the private sector for the most part that you would get with the state. So even if you retired after 20 years, you could work part-time doing something not as many hours a week and still draw that retirement that is going to be a lot more than you would working 25 years or 30 years in the private sector. So you have to look at, do you want to just make a big paycheck, or do you want to be able to have money set aside if you want to have a family? And I think that's something that a lot of teenagers don't think about, because they say, I want the highest paycheck. But the retirement benefits is what's really going to benefit you as you get older.
Yes, that is absolutely correct. That's correct because I know a lot of people that retire here. They are set. They are set. You really don't have to really worry about anything. By the time you retire, you to just go and enjoy yourself because you had like all them years you've been working for the state. Um, you just count all that money. So when you retire, you'll be good. You won't even have to worry about anything at all. Anything. But yeah, if do anybody have any questions?
Yeah, I do want to talk about a few things, and they'll have some questions as well. But
Okay.
one thing that I was telling them before we came on is that when you were in ninth grade, you were in my class, and
Mhm.
you were so nervous and you were so scared about having to speak, and now you're speaking where it's going to be live on YouTube. So you were able to overcome that. And
Yeah.
I was explaining to you when you were 14 years old that I'm not trying to be mean, but I want you to be able to communicate. So even if and you were in the band, you had a good high school
Mhm.
experience there at Jim Hill, but you were very shy. You've come out of that shell. But how was that? And I know I wasn't the only one, but some of these kids want to get so mad. We make them present, we make them speak, we make them talk. But that's, you getting over that fear at a young age has really helped you, and it's really propelled you in your
Yes.
career, and it helps you in college. So talk about how that benefits not only a college student, but a professional.
Well, I had to look at this perspective. I know when I was in high school, I really was very, very shy. I did not want to speak. I'd be shaking. Um, it really took me till like I think my second year of college, when I had public speaking. Yes, you will have public speaking when you get in college. So that right there really had told me like no matter where you go, you are going to have to speak. You are going to have to speak. It don't matter if you're working dealing with customer service at a gas station. It don't matter like if you're working at Walmart, even stocking, because you still have to deal with customers wherever you go. Wherever you go, you do have to deal with people. You do have to speak to others. And I really wasn't expecting to like be in a public speaking class. So I was just like, well, look, you got to get it together. You do have to get it together because, you do have to speak. I had to really just get myself together because, like I had stated once before, you do have to speak to people on a day-to-day basis, no matter what type of job you're in. You have to speak to parents. You have to speak to customers. That's just how like the world actually works now. um any job you're at, you have to speak. So I have to really put that in my head, like, hey, you have to speak. You have to communicate. You just have to communicate. And that kind of like that right there, that class right there really just like burned me up, because I was like, I remember when Mr. Parker did tell me this. He did tell me this. Now it's just like, wow, it's like boom, right there. So I have to really just get myself together and just be like, hey, if I do want to be a professional one day, I do have to speak to others, even though it's probably not fun. It's not fun just to be just talking all the time, but you just have to really just tell yourself like, hey, I do have to do this. And by the time you just get used to it, it's easy. So like when I went to Jackson State, you are going to be going to like a university, and they go ask you to come up all the time. All the time. You're gonna have to talk about your pages in front of people and your professors. So people is just basically just looking at you like all the time when you hit university. So, that kind of, had firmed me up. And now I'm really able to speak to anybody at any time now. So
Yeah,
yeah.
and another thing about, not just Jackson State, but any university, you got to be able to speak plainly and clearly, because especially at Jackson State, you have people from all over the world. If English isn't their first language, they may understand English, but you're going to have to be very clear and simple in the way you explain things. So it's about being confident and being able to sell yourself. And we're getting ready to talk about the job interview process in here. And again, I'm comfortable speaking in front of thousands of people. You don't have to be comfortable speaking in front of thousands of people, but you have to be able to sell yourself and speak and be articulate in what the point you're trying to get across. So I'm glad that all these years later that has stuck with you, because that's what I told you guys when y'all were in ninth grade. Look, you don't have to be a professional speaker, but you're going to, in order to do business in anywhere, no matter whether you go to college or not, that speaking and being able to speak to people and customers, employees, employers is so vital. I don't care if you have a 4.0. If you can't talk, you're not going to be successful as your potential allows you to be.
Yes, that is absolutely correct. That's correct.
Now, I want to talk about a few things before I get to the students' questions. Is one thing I've always been proud of with you is you lost a ton of weight. I know you're very proud of that, because we had some conversations when you were a kid about you were really self-conscious about the way you looked and everything, and you have just done a complete transformation. So, if we have some kids that are struggling with that, tell us how you did that, because it's been quite impressive. You look like a different person.
Yeah. Well, it all started, I think I was about 16 or 17. I had went to the doctor and he was just like, you know that you're 265 pounds. And I was like, are you kidding me? For real? And that's just like instantly just was like, hey, no, 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 no. I cannot do that. I cannot do that. So I went home and I was just like, enough is enough because I was almost to like 300 pounds. So I just decided to stay away from drinks. I started minimizing my eating habits. I started eating twice a day. I'll stop like around about 5 and just fast until the next day because fasting is very beneficial to you. And yeah, that's all I really just did. Start drinking a lot of water, start working out, and now I'm actually at 160. I lost over 100 and something pounds.
Wow.
So
And it's just, and it really changed your attitude. I try to tell, I was heavy. I lost over 100 pounds as well. And I tell people all the time that may seem like something silly, but changing your self reflection can really help your confidence. And that can build into that speaking. If you're more confident about yourself, the way you look, you're not going to be as self-conscious about the way people are looking at you. And that's been very beneficial for me. And I know it's been very beneficial for you as well.
yes, I had to really just look because I remember like days I used to just look in the mirror and be like, wow, I really need to do something. But if your mindset isn't there, you aren't gonna be able to do it. So, the first thing you really have to do is like put that in your mindset, like, I need to do this. I need to do this for myself. Um, so, that whole entire time I used to been talking about that for years, like, oh, I need to do something. I'll still be snacking, still be eating things around 10, 11, some at night, sleeping on it, waking up, ready to eat again, ready to eat again. But I just have to just look in the mirror and just be like, enough is enough. And when you start losing that weight, you start to realize like, wow, I look amazing. Like you end up seeing like all the types of foods that you was eating like was really harming you. And you just have to start somewhere. You do have to start
And even if
somewhere.
it's small, I haven't had a soda in 6 years, and I don't miss it. I really don't. There's other things you can drink that are way better for you, and then and I'm not a health expert at all, but doing those small things can make such a huge difference on your mental health and your confidence, and it's just so great that you've done that. Now, you did decide to go to Hines right out of Jim Hill because you had great grades in high school. You were a pretty much all A student, but you decided to do the community college route. Now, what drove you to do the community college route rather than going straight to Jackson State?
Why I decided to go to Hines because I was looking at it with saving more money. I realized when I did my research, like just going straight to a university, you'll be actually having a higher amount of debt that you owe. So I decided to go ahead and go to Hines and start there. Because I know my cousin who's actually she went to Tougaloo. Yeah, she went to Tougaloo. And she was there for like, the whole 4 years and she graduated. She owed like $60,000.
Mm.
60,000 compared to me, which I only owe 20,000 for doing that route. So I try to just tell any, young person who's ready to go to college. I know you be ready to go to a university and just be like, yeah, I'm ready to go to a university. But you have to look at like Hines or Homes or any type of community college really. It's like a good start. It's really like a good start to kind of help you, kind of like lead you and guide you to what you actually want to do. because if you really don't like that, you always switch to something else. So, at least it's kind of like helping you put that one foot in the door. So you won't really have to be like, well, I think I wasted my money on this. I don't like this. And you have to go right back to school again for another 4 years because you don't like that. A lot of master programs, you have to get your bachelor's degree in certain specific areas, like probably accounting. You have to start off getting your bachelor's degree in accounting before you even hit the master's program. So that's why it's very beneficial of going to a community college, because it kind of like help guide you and lead you to what you actually want to do. So that's why I decided to do that route, because kind of helped me, because I was kind of I really didn't know what I really wanted to do. I just was like, hey, I'm gonna just start at Hind, because like I know they'll kind of help me save a little bit more money as well. And it kind of helped me like see specifically what I really just want to do. Because if I didn't like being in a paralegal technology class, I thought I always get transferred to something else. And I wouldn't have to really worry about that. So that's why I always try to tell young students and young people overall, try to at least go to a community college first, so you at least get your foot in the door.
Yeah,
So,
especially with
yeah.
these ACT scholarships available now. I always say, unless you just have full scholarship to the 4-year university, that the community college is the best route. Now, the last thing I wanted to mention before I get to these questions is, you see the stuff on the news about Jackson Public Schools and some of the things that that you were exposed to. I mean, and I saw it myself. You were exposed to a lot of things that are every teenager is not exposed to. They see it on the media, they see it on YouTube, but there was some very serious stuff going on there in that neighborhood and in that community. Even though it was still, I still think it's a great school, great community, but you had a lot of obstacles and you had a lot of distractions as a teenager, but yet you stayed the course and you did what you needed to do. And now you recently married and then a successful career. So, how lucky are these kids that we have here that don't have to deal with that? And if they do have to face something like that, how can they get through it?
Well, like when I was at Jim Hill, like Mr. Pocket even stated, like it was a lot. You have to deal with kids that don't want to do anything. You got a few kids that want to do something. You have few teachers that didn't want to teach, and you have few teachers that did. So, all I can really just say about that is, you have to stay focused. You just really have to stay focused on yourself and know what you want in the future. I see people I was in, class with now, wow, locked up, deceased. I see a whole lot, a whole lot. And you have to really just think like, this is not what I want for myself. I want to do better. I want to be somebody. I want to be able to have money. I want to be able to have my own house. You want to be able to be stable. So that's why, like, I'll tell anybody, like, your mindset is what is going to take you farther in life. You have to know specifically what you want, like, as soon as possible, because like as soon as you graduate, real life is going to hit you. It's going to hit you like a brick of rocks and everything else, honestly. So I'll just tell anybody like, hey, please just, stay on it. You got to stay on it for yourself. All these negative.
Street life isn't real life.
Yeah, it's true. Like these people, like I said, I went to school with. No, it don't worry about that. If you want to just be by yourself, be by yourself. You don't have to have friends all the time. If they're negative, dismiss them out your life, because if they not able to help you get better, because that's what our friends are for. They help you get better and want you to succeed in life. If they not doing that, please get rid of them.
Well, I do have some questions from the students, and these are all juniors.
Mhm.
The first one is Celeria Chester. She wants to be an accountant, so she's one of our high, and she's in the band like you were. But she asked, "Were you debating on going to any other colleges, or were JSU and Hines your only choices?"
I actually was thinking about going to a university in Atlanta. Why I decided not to go, because I was just like, well, I'm gonna go ahead and just try to start the community college, thing first. So I have to make sure that if, that's something I actually really want. So after I did finish at Hines, I had went on and was like, should I go ahead and go to Atlanta? But the main thing I was thinking about was the out of state fees. The
Absolutely.
out of state, and I was just like, no, I really don't want to pay that. So that's why I went on to Jackson State, because I actually heard that they are really good. They was a good like university. So I was just like, well, I'm gonna go ahead and go on to Jackson State, and that's what I did.
Yeah, and I think it's important because I heard a lot of kids say a lot, especially if you go to an all black high school, you're like, I want to experience something different. I don't want to just be around black folks all the time. But I always say historically black does not mean exclusively black, because Jackson State has a very diverse student body.
Oh yes, it's people all over the world. France, um, Africans, just numerous of people from Europe and everything. Like it's a lot of people and stuff that actually go there. So like I was telling you guys at first, you to be able to, when you do go, you don't really have to be around those people, because by the time you go to class, you'll be ready to leave or go to your dorms and go ahead and try to study. So you really don't have to be around those people if you don't want to be around those folks. Because me personally, I really don't like hanging with a lot of people anyway. So normally when I do go, when I was going to the Jackson State, I used to just go by myself. I wasn't hanging around nobody or anything like that. I'll pull up and go into my class, and that's it, and leave and go home. So you really don't have to be around a lot of people if you don't want to.
Yeah, because I used to mess with you because I see you in the bleachers playing the clarinet. I'm like, do you even want to be there? You're just like you're mad, but that's the personality. This is Carl Wilson, and he asked, "How would you rate your job on a scale of 1 to 10, and what are the biggest pros and cons?"
I'll say it's probably a 9 out of 10. Why I say that, because the pros, um, actually, I'll say like they really give you like this alternative schedule. So you to be able to come to work at 8 and leave at 4:30.
Wow.
So and also other departments, I think they work from like Monday to Thursday and have Fridays off.
Wow.
So they do have like good benefits as well. They really don't take a whole lot out of me for like health insurance and eye insurance and everything else. Then another thing I do like is the promotional opportunities.
Absolutely.
So like about time, I hit my 6 months, I can easily get transferred to something else and get paid higher than what I'm getting now. So they are always exceeding the limit with your pay, trying to make sure that you if you want to just move up, you're able to move up at any sort of time after your 6 months. So that's one thing I do like about the job. I don't say my cons are, of course, dealing with negative customers. Even though it's your job and everything, but just dealing with Negative customers, you know how that go. But other than that, it's really a good department.
Yeah. And I'm glad you mentioned about not taking out for health and dental and vision, because if somebody wants to have a family, that is a big deal. And I know you and your husband are looking to start a family. And if you want to have kids, that health insurance is extremely expensive. You may be making more than somebody at the state on a paycheck every month, but you have to look at what it's going to cost you to have a family. You have to look at, especially, heaven forbid, somebody has a child with special needs, that price is going to even be higher. So looking at how you can afford to take care of a family is so important when you're looking for a career. Because and you mentioned accounting, and we have one here that wants to be an accountant. You can probably make a little bit more money in the private sector as an accountant, but you probably will not get the same benefits as you would as a state accountant, whether it's in Department of Revenue or another department. So looking at that is so important for teenagers to think about as they start moving toward that next step.
Yes, that is correct as well. I know that just thinking about it, I think they are taking internships as well now for young students in high school. So, if anyone is interested, you just let Mr. Pocket know, and he to get in contact with me, and I to try to give that information to him. So, you guys to go ahead and start off, dealing with your internship, because honestly, they always look at your job history. So, just even having like an internship is very beneficial, because they still look at that as, like, depending on if you want to do internship for 2 years, they look at that, and that can make your pay go up as well, just based off your job history, because they see like, well, hey, she knows what she doing, or he know what he's doing. So that's very beneficial as well too to you guys. So just let him know, and I'll be able to give that information to him. You guys are interested.
And that'd be, there's several departments, and we've mentioned several of them. Now I've got one more from the students, and this is actually a good question. It seems silly, but it's a great question. This is Fred Johnson, and he asked, does working in a big building ever cause you to lose focus or be distracted?
Yeah, sometimes, because
It is huge.
yes, it's a lot of people that actually work in this building. So, a few people that actually know you, they be like, hey, how are you? You get to talking and get to talking and talking, and you just lose track, like, oh, geez, I need to get back to my job. And like I said, they had a gym in here. So, sometimes you'll probably lose track at the gym, and you be like, oh man, I can't believe I went over my time. So it's a lot of things to do in this building. So yeah, sometimes I do get distracted, especially with talking to other co-workers.
Yeah, and there's a lot of places to eat close by too, so that could be a big distraction. Now we're almost out of time, and I thank you so much as always. And it's just, it's humbling to me to see how far you've come since I met you when you were 14 to now. Seeing you come out of your shell and just become a great professional is one of the most rewarding things in my career. And it's crazy. I met you my second day as a teacher, and here we are today. But one thing I wanted to ask is that, you were sitting with me just like these kids are now, every day, pretty much their whole first semester of your first semester of high school. How much of what I told you about what was going to happen in life actually happened?
All of it. All of it. Yes. I can't say that Mr. Pocket is one of the best teachers I ever had. He will, like, I'll just say, like, just please listen to everything he's saying, because he been through it and done that. So if he's actually telling you that, he really just care. He just want to see you guys succeed. He want to see you guys, just be somebody in life. And nothing he's saying is not wrong. Everything he's saying is the truth. So I'll just say, just listen to him, even though you probably like, yeah, please, whatever, I don't want to listen to it, yada yada yada. But everything he's saying, he's absolutely be telling the truth. So everything he told me, I was just like, Okay, I was listening, but it really just took like, wow, yeah, Mr. Pocket did tell me this. So yeah, just listen to him though.
Well, it's just, it's just incredibly humbling and one of the proudest accomplishments of my career. And I just, I can never tell you how proud I am of you. So proud to be able to call you a former student. And we thank you so much for joining us today. Natalie Jamison, all the way over there at the Department of Revenue in Clinton. Thank you so much. I'll talk to you soon, buddy.
All right, thank you guys, and thank you.
Yeah.
All right, bye.